Hey everyone, so this is Mary Claire, and I have done some changing up of my work, a rebrand, if you will, although I don't really like that word. It's not what I'm looking for because I'm doing more personal stories, and brand doesn't seem like the right word, but that's kind of the word that people understand. And I want to talk about one of the new projects I have going as part of that. I decided that when I went to connect everything that I write, the common theme was about becoming human. And, I spent almost 30 years believing that I wasn't human because, I had been a sex slave as a child and as a teenager, and I was even trafficked as an adult to the United States to get married to a Christian nationalist man. And so that's the only life I kind of knew. And this idea for a section I'm calling Wh0re is it came from the recent essay I wrote called Whores and Menopause. And because I was writing about how angry I am at the idea of going through perimenopause and menopause as someone who never had control over my own body, and now it's going to change and I still don't have control over it. Like, I don't consent to this, but it's part of aging, and that's what happens. But I'm still angry about it because I have rarely been able to choose what happens to my body, but I get to choose what happens to it now. And I have been very frustrated because it gets to where sometimes the old stuff kicks in, and I'm like, well, the only two skills I have, writing and prostitution, and writing isn't, making the money very well. And so, I have had a lot of people tell me, oh, you should go on OnlyFans because even fat women can do well on OnlyFans because there's a market for that. And see, I have always said, no, I'm not going to do that because for me it would be damaging to my mental health. It would make me think that that's still the only thing I'm good for, and it's not something that I want to do. It's not who I am anymore. My identity isn't with what happened back then. So, sorry, that's my dryer, I think, and I'm not gonna go through and edit this video because I really don't know how to do that yet. I'm learning how to do that. But back to the subject at hand, as I am trying to realize that I can do whatever I want with my body, and there are things that I want to do that cost money, and so I'll never be able to do it. And it's like, it's hard to accept that because there's so many things I want to do that I have the option to do now, but never will because it would be irresponsible use of funds that I don't have. And so, there's more tattoos I would like to do, tattoos that I would like to change up and do some kind of cover up on. There's a whole bunch of piercings I would like to do, and it's hard to accept that that will never happen because these are the things I want to do with my body. And the other thing is, with my dissociative identity disorder, is that, when I have certain alters present, when they get dressed or whatever, it's different depending on which altar is present as to what I look like when I get dressed. And so there's that going on, and it's complicated, but and I get mad at people when they try and tell me that my outfit isn't appropriate or whatever, because I finally get to choose how to present my body, and people are still criticizing And, you know, some days I feel insecure and I cover up, and some days I don't cover up, and it's just, it depends on the day and how I'm feeling and how I'm doing. And I don't want my clothing policed because I'm just getting to where I have the option to do what I want with my body. And so I'm going to present it the way that I want to present it. And basically, what it comes down to is consent. These are things that I get to do if I want to now, because this is who I am, and I get to do that. And I'm not used to being able to do that. And so I'm going to produce some content along those lines, and you will need to be probably following me on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram to see most of this content, because it's going to be more video based, and it's also going to be photographs. Some days I may just post an outfit of the day and be like, I'm wearing this because this person got dressed this morning, or this is how this makes me feel today. And this idea came to me. So this is going to be either good or bad, right? Because this idea came to me while I was in therapy and ranting to my therapist about how it feels like I'm only good for prostitution, even though that's not what I want to be doing. And this is hard. This is a struggle for me, because financially things aren't going well and they're getting worse. And so, I'm racking my brain trying to figure out what to do at the same time, while I have all these people telling me, oh, get on OnlyFans. I don't want to get on OnlyFans. That's not who I am anymore. And I'm not going to really, I feel like I'm not going to judge people that are on OnlyFans. I don't kind of know necessarily what to think about it, but I think that because there's consent there, that it's different to some other things, and it's a voluntary thing. These women haven't been trafficked to this. This is something they choose to do on their own. And so it feels a little more ethical, but it's still not what I really want to do. And it doesn't fit for me, the identity I have in Christ as a Christian. It just doesn't fit for me. And maybe for some people, they're able to justify doing that, but I'm not. And so it's, like I said, it's going to be good or bad, because it was an idea that came to me while I was ranting to my therapist. And, some days it's going to be talking about insecurities, or just however I'm feeling that day, and the consent issue, and also creating long form content for YouTube, and shorts for Instagram and TikTok on issues about consent, and being able to, how the struggle of going from sex slave, where I was told everything I had to do, and they were making money off of me, and I was kind of on display, and I was forced to do things I didn't want to do, to now I can do what I want to do. And it gets confusing for me, because sometimes I don't know how to handle that, because I'm not used to being able to decide those things for myself. And so it is difficult, and I kind of want to give you guys an idea of how that feels, and the good and the bad and the ugly, and just, it's such a different life now, and I'm still getting used to that. And so that's what the main gist of Wh0re is going to be. It's like, that's not who I am anymore, but it's who I was, and this just complex array of feelings, and what I want to do versus what I can do. And, sometimes I get angry because I won't ever be able to do the things I want to do, because it wouldn't be responsible. But at the same time, it's like, there's got to be this acceptance that I won't always get to do what I want to do. And that's hard, because, I finally can, but I also can't. and it's more complicated than it should be, but that's just the reality of, how things go. And so I'm actually, I get angry that I can't do more tattoos or piercings to present my body the way I want to present it, but it's life, and that's what happens. And so this is the kind of content I'm going to be producing. Some of it's going to be a little more explicit than other times. And, occasionally I will write an essay about it, but this is going to be my content that is more video based and image based. And I hope that you folks enjoy it, because my whole idea of the work that I'm doing now is about becoming human, because while I understand that I was always human, all those years as a sex slave, I thought I was either a monster or God's great cosmic joke. And now that I'm through all that and I'm not being forced into things that I don't necessarily want to do, it's new and it's exciting, but it's scary. And so it's about becoming human. It's about having choices, and it's about life after that. And so, like I said, I hope you folks enjoy, and I will create some more content soon, and hopefully I learn how to edit videos or find a way to do that pretty soon, because, if I'm going to create long form content, I need to be able to do that. But right now, this is as good as it's going to get until I've been able to go through and do that. And while I'm in graduate school, it's going to be harder to take the time to do that, but I'm really going to try and figure this out. So good night, and I will be back soon.